Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my daily news analysis channel. Here in this video, we understand the economic survey of our country. As we know that economic survey of our country has released on 29th of January 2026, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has released the economic survey of country. Usually the economic survey comes day a day before budget. That means every year budget comes on 1st of February and economic survey comes on 31st of January, but this year it has come little early. Okay, so let us understand what does economic survey says. What is economic survey? Let us understand that. So economic survey, you can take it as the annual health card of the economy. It tells us that how it tells us how the previous year that it went in terms of economy. It assesses the economic performance of the country. It provides us the comprehensive analysis of the Indian economy. This year, compared to last year, the economic survey has come little bulky, or you can say voluminous. It consists of 13 chapters. First chapter, which tells us about the state of Indian economy. Then it is talks about fiscal development, monetary sector, external sector, human development, financial inclusion, inflation trend, infrastructure, connectivity, AI. So these are the various chapters of our economic survey. Economic survey is basically made by the finance ministry of the country. So let us understand what does economic survey of a country said. So our macroeconomic numbers of economic survey has been very great. Yes, our GDP, our inflation rate, our external debt ratio, our economic indicators are very, very, very good. But still, you can say that due to the geopolitical turmoil and various other reasons, the impact we couldn't see. So let us say what does economic survey say India says about GDP of a country. Let us understand what is GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product. It basically tells you the how much goods and services produced in a territory in our country, of both by our citizens or by our non-citizens. It basically tells about you can calculate the GDP of the country by three measures: through production, through investment, and through expenditure method. The common definition that we always the common equation that we always take to calculate our GDP is through expenditure. We see how much we are uh, spending, right? So it states that GDP is equals to consumption plus government consumption plus investment and our net export. So India remained a fastest growing economy for the fourth consecutive year. Economic survey suggests that the GDP of India, in according to IMF, the projected GDP for the coming year will be between 6.8% to 7.2%. If you see the other countries like um, developing countries, European countries, Middle East Asian countries, they all are growing at the rate of 3 to 4%. But India has shown its commitment. It's shown its a consistency that with four consecutive years, India's GDP remains the highest in our country. What are the main drivers of Indian economy growth? The number one reason that economic survey says that is due to the private consumption. It says that we are now consuming more. As I told you earlier, that GDP stands for consumption, investment, net exports, government spendings, right? So the consumption, so we private and the government, all of our citizens, we all are spending more. When we spend more, the supply of the product increases, and hence they have to make more products. In this way, GDP increases, right? So the household consumption has increased. It has increased to 61.5% of GDP. Also, investment of also is also increased. In fiscal year 2025-26, 30% of GDP is spent on investment. It means India spends India is spending more on its investments, like on capital in infrastructure, like making ports, building making airports, ports, railway tracks, many other things which generates employment in our country, which adds value in our country, right? At the time of investment independence, that means in 1947, the country spends nearly 1% of its GDP on investment. But now in year 2025, India spends 30% of GDP in investment. That means if India earns 100 rupees in a year, 30 rupees is spent on making on capital expenditure, on making investment, which brings value in later period of time. These are the two main drivers that why our GDP is increasing. Talking about the per capita income, so the per capita income is that it is whatever amount of India that is earning, if we divide it among the all people, among all populations. So it stands for GDP. When we divide GDP by the population of the country, that gives us the per capita income. So the per capita income has stand for 2.2 lakh. It has increased by 2.2% of the country. Talking about the in gross value added, so in this year also the country remains a service sector economy. So the gross value added, it means that in service sector, what kind of growth that service sector has shown. So service sector has shown a remarkable growth. The GVA of service sector is nearly 9.1%. That of a manufacturing sector is 6.2%, and agricultural sector is 3.1%. Economic survey pointed out that it is a kind of a paradox that nearly 45% of population is indulged in agricultural sector, but the output has come from service sector. It is a very paradoxical situation. It's a very that we have to understand, and government of India needs to make some efforts regarding this. So amidst this global turmoil, trade wars, tariffs, India is shown is a bright spot. According to economic survey, India as an oasis of macro stability in this turbulent world. Talking about the inflation, this year the inflation has remained very low. The core inflation is nearly is has been stable, that is of 2.9%, and the headline inflation is nearly 1.7%. While calculating the core inflation, we are excluding the gold and silver products. Core inflation, like your foods, fruits, baskets, or your shirts, clothes, appraisals, textile, these are the core products, right? So the core inflation has remains very slow, of course, due to the GST rationalization, right? These are the few reasons. So now, talking about the some external sector, that is the balance of payment. So balance of payment is basically released by the Reserve Bank of India. So what is this balance of payment? See, while our whole world, the globe, is also an economy, it is also a market. So how much import India, and in order to sustain in this world, in order we have to do this global trade, we import something, we export something, we buy we sell something to the world, and we also take something from the world. So it is a game of import and export which is happening in our country, right? So how much we are importing and how much we are exporting, the whole economics is known as balance of payments. Balance of payments has three components. Number one is the current account, number two is the capital account, and number three is the forex reserves. This whole forex reserve, right? So the current account includes the difference between export and the import of a country for goods and services, merchandise products, like whatever they are, right? uh, like you're exporting, importing crude oil, your rice, pulses, cloths, textiles, all of these comes under the current account. So now this current account, it means this difference, it can be positive also, it can be negative also, it can go in surplus also, it goes in deficit also. If it is going in surplus, that means we are exporting more than we are importing. If it is in surplus, if it is in deficit, it means we are we're importing more and exporting less. So currently India is in the current account deficit. We import more than the export. However, our CAD, that is our current account deficit, has reduced by 0.8% in fiscal year 26. In year 24, 15, it was it has reduced by 1.32%. But in after 10 years, it now our current account deficit is reducing by 0.8%. India's share in global merchandise exports is been in year 2024 is 1.8%. In year 2005 it was just 1%. It means we were not importing more in 2 decades back, but now we are exporting more. When we are exporting more, it means we are bringing more foreign currencies in our market, right? In this way, we are now not we are not getting more dependent upon other countries. Rather, we are producing now, and now we are making India as an trying to make India as an indispensable part of the world. This year India has received world's highest remittances, that is $135.4 billion. India has received world's highest remittances. It gets remittances for many areas like USA, UAE, Saudi Arab, Middle East Asian countries, UK, Canada, and many other nations. So we are seeing that our current account deficit is also improving. Our current account is also improving. A capital account, it includes the FDI, foreign portfolio investment, foreign currency expenditure deposits, lendings, borrowings. Talking about the forex reserves means foreign exchange reserves. That means how much a country holds the reserves of any other country, right? Because it includes dollars, euro, pounds, and many other foreign exchange countries. If India has less forex reserves, it means the it means that if we have less supply of forex reserves, we need to give our the value of our rupee depreciated. We have to give more money to them, right? That is the foreign exchange reserves. So India's foreign exchange reserves, according to the economic survey, has improved. India has $701 billion of foreign exchange reserves as compared in year 2024-25, in year as compared to year 21-22, which has just $578 billion of forex reserves. So our forex exchange reserves has increased. Also, Our external debt to GDP ratio is just 19.6%, right? Okay, so what does it mean? That if we have 100 rupees, and if you have taken loan from outside country, a debt, a kind of a debt, that means only 19.6 rupees we have to give them in order to uh, waive off that loan, which is just 19.6%, which is was just 19.6 rupees. So it is very, very a good number. The number has reached to 30 also. So we have less money in our hand for our growth, for our development. So in a way, our foreign exchange reserves market is increasing. Now you will ask me, ma'am, if the reserves are increasing, then why it is happening that dollar value has depreciated, dollar rupee has now $1 is equals to 92 rupees. Now this also has been explained in the chapter 3 of the economic survey, which I will discuss in the later videos. But here I'm giving you the overall explanation of summary of economic survey. Later on we will see what does chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 says about economic survey. So the balance of payment is also improving. Talking about the budget, what does our budget says? So budget has two components, right? Number one, it has revenue, it has expenditure, right? This is the budget, how much we are earning and how much we are expending spending. That is the budget only. So the budget can be of, so we can earn or spend in two manner, in receipt manner or in capital manner. In receipt include means your salary, the your day to day spendings, earnings, which are very usual. Like revenue receipt means, it means your taxes, your non-tax, your tax, your salaries. These are revenue receipts. Revenue expenditures, it includes we have to give pensions, salaries to employees, or interest payments if we have taken from any other country. If we have taken debt from any other country, then we have to give them interest payments also. Now these are the revenue expenditure. So the rate of growth of revenue receipt is 9.2%, whereas rate of growth of revenue expenditure is 1.8% in fiscal year 25. Also, our direct tax based collection has also increased. In fiscal year 22 and 22, the number of people who are paying taxes were 6.9 crore people. But now in fiscal year 25, the number has increased to 9.2 crore, which is a very good growth. If our tax base has increased, more people are now giving taxes. It is a very good sign of an economy. That means we have more money. We can use that money in development, in in many social development schemes, in making capital expenditures. Also, the tax revenue has also increased. In fiscal year 25, the tax revenue is 11.5% of GDP. This number has also increased. Our fiscal deficit stands for your difference between revenue expenditure and revenue receipt. Sorry, expenditure minus receipt. It is just 4.4%. Our revenue deficit is 1.5%, and a primary deficit, your fiscal deficit minus interest payments, is just 0.8%. So in this way, we are increasing our tax base numbers. Our taxpayers are also increasing. Our corporation taxes has also increased. Also, the rate of growth of revenue receipt has also increased by 1.9% compared to the previous years. So according to economic survey, our revenue receipt, we are earning good amount of money. Talking about our capital budget, so capital budget, just like revenue budget, it has two components. It has receipt, it has expenditure, right? So capital expenditure is used when we are developing some of when we are developing a kind of an infrastructure, it is not a usual it is not a usual money that we spend. Just like salaries we have to give every year, every month. But if we are making a road, or if we are making a port, that means we do not make it every year, we just make it once. That is a capital expenditure. So our effective capital expenditure has increased to 4.4% of GDP. What does it mean to be effective capital expenditure? So effective expenditure is the basically the your capital expenditure that government is spending, plus grants and aid provided by center to the state. State also produces some kind of infrastructure also in their country. So and center gives them some kind of money to do that. Okay, take this money and build infrastructure in your state. So that is the effective capital expenditure. In fiscal year, in pre-COVID era, in fiscal year 21 2022, the effective capital expenditure was 2.7% of GDP. But in this year, it has increased to 4% of GDP. Also, it also says that our capital expenditure is more than our revenue expenditure, which is a very good news, because capital expenditure is a kind of an asset and revenue expenditure is a kind of a liability. We are producing more assets in our country. So the rate of growth of capital expenditure in fiscal year 2025, which was is 6.7%, and the rate of growth of revenue expenditure, it was 1.8%. So it states that producing we are spending our money on a qualitative things. We are producing infrastructure, we are creating jobs, we are creating assets according to the economic survey. So this is the whole talking about the employment rate in our country. So employment rate in our country has also, we have seen a dip in unemployment rate. In fiscal year 2017, the unemployment rate in our country was 6%, but in year 25 it was 3.2%. Also, the number of female labor workforce participation in our country has also increased. In fiscal year 17, only 23.3% women were were in the workforce, but now the number has increased to 41%. Most of the women are in MSME, in agricultural, in food processing industry, industrial sectors. However, they have also raised a red mark that we have to include the care economy also, and also generate a kind of a ecosystem which is women friendly. So this is the overview of the economic survey. Also, this year, economic survey has also given some kind of a warning. It has outlined three problematic global scenarios. Government, economic survey says that India has been a bright spot in the turbulent world. Why? Because of its capital formation, improvement of labor workforce participation, manufacturing investment is done. So it's a bright spot. But we are seeing a lot of turmoil in our country, in all over the world. Trade wars, right? Or tariffs. So a lot of instability is happening, which is hampering India as well. So it has predicted some problems, that it is predicted that in the coming year, the volatility persist. The kind of volatile situation right now is there, it is going to be persist in the coming year. For that government intervention, that's why we need to become Atmanirbhar. How we can become Atmanirbhar? We have to make um, we have to start producing in our own country. We have to give more push to our manufacturing sector, so that we should not be dependent upon the world. We're seeing the current global scenario where the world order has disturbed, tariff war is going on. In this turbulent world, we have to become strong, and we can become strong if we produce things in our own country, and we should be less dependent on other countries. Also, we have to make ourselves that much strong that we will become the indispensable part of the world. That means we should create something that if the world order, that India position of India will not, it will not deteriorate if the world is deteriorating. That is also the thing. We have to make some kind of vaccines, we have to make some kind of something that India becomes the indispensable part of the world. Also, we have to give major push to our youth also, because youth is also here. We are seeing a structural unemployment in our country. Despite having a good demographic dividend, we are facing structural unemployment. It is a kind of a double-edged sword, as we have also discussed in our earlier videos. So we have to make the skilling, upskilling, and policies have also economic survey has suggested regarding this. This is the overview of the economic survey of 25 of this year. I will be also coming with the specific chapters like agricultural sector or health, education. Many chapters I will giving the snippets in the coming series also. Till then, stay. Thank you. Bye.